What's up, everybody? This is Phil Rogacki.
And I'm Jared Abergina.
You're listening to Two Tree Guys Podcast.
All right.
What's going on, Eric?
So we're live. We've been live.
Every story.
That's awesome. No, I did take over the podcast just for right now, just as a guest host. But no, I did enjoy it a lot coming up there, and I know you're gonna enjoy it too. But
Okay.
it's so good to have you here with us, Jordan. You're like the backbone for all of us, for
well, thank
everything
you.
we do.
Thank you.
It's great to have you. It's great for people to see you. Because you're not just pretty face, you're so smart and everything. So,
Thank you.
so
High five on that.
yeah. So tell us, we want to know, how was it that you got into all of this? We know you're married to Hans,
Yeah.
but how did you actually decide? Because you weren't doing this,
No.
you weren't a part of all of
Yeah.
this. You were doing your own thing. You were just married to a tree guy,
I was
right?
married to a tree guy. So when I was in middle school, my parents and I started to travel out west every summer. We would get in our motorhome and we would drive out west for 5.5 weeks every summer. And I've been to all of the continental states except for Alaska.
Oh,
and
wow.
I have been to Hawaii. But I quickly realized that I wanted to be in hospitality and event planning. And I remember driving out to Yellowstone and Yosemite and Grand Canyon and looking at these beautiful old lodges that were just like blowing me away. Like, these places are gorgeous. Like, I
Right.
want to help do that. So I immediately knew I went to go to school for hospitality and event planning, which is what I did. And then in college, Hans and I met. We started dating after college. Hans was doing his tree thing. He's like all bad Hans, #tree biz. And then he started teaching. And when he started
So how
teaching,
was that? Let's not go that far
Not
yet.
go
Like
far?
how,
Okay.
how was it when you met him? Like, was it instant like, oh my god, like I'm in love with this guy, or like was he like all buggy and like
No,
like
no,
all
it
like,
was-
hey, like how was it?
it was instant. So Hans
wow.
and I started our first.
He's such a good looking
Yeah.
guy though. Like,
Our first date, because we knew each other in college, but we did
Okay.
not start dating until after college. So the first time we went out was November 16th, and my best friend's birthday is November 23rd. And we went out to dinner on November 23rd, my friend and I remember telling her that I was going to have his babies.
just like
And
that.
I did, yeah. So it was relatively instant. Yeah, there was no games, there was no back and forth. Like, we moved in together within like 4 months.
That is so cool.
I thought he was gonna propose to me a year later when we were at the Grand Canyon. We were on vacation with my parents, and I was like, he's gonna propose while we're away. He's gonna propose, and he didn't. And I was like, what the fuck? What happened?
He's like, it's so beautiful out here. You're like, yeah. Like,
hello.
this is the place to do it.
Yeah.
Well,
But at
awesome.
that time, he was still working for his dad, and it was like weird. People would be like, "Oh, what does Hans do?" And I'm like, "He's a tree guy, cuts down trees." Like,
Yeah.
and that was right after Hurricane Sandy, so that was pretty cool. I mean, like,
Were people like, you
Take
married a
pictures
tree
and stuff.
guy? Was your family like?
yeah. I mean, he says it. He said it on the podcast with you guys that like when you first say it, people are like, "Oh, like the garbage man." Like, you know, you're like
Garbage man.
they just think of you as like a utility. Like, I don't think people
Right.
really realize everything that goes into it.
Right.
Like, everything that goes into what you guys do on a daily basis, and the thought process that has to go into it, and the level of just how meticulous you guys have to be
Yeah.
be good at what you're doing.
Yeah, I know.
And I think that what he's done on social media has brought a huge light to that.
Absolutely.
You know? People see it, like friends of mine, and they're like, a guy that I used to work with started following him on Instagram years ago, and he still follows him now. And like, I would get on a conference call, and he'd randomly be like, "Did you see what he did?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I see what he did."
I live with the guy.
Yeah, I live with him. So I think it just brings a really good light to everything that you guys are doing.
It sure does. It's way cool.
And shows people, you know, this isn't just somebody coming to your house to do something easy. Like, this is serious and it's dangerous, and you as a homeowner need to be aware of that. And,
Yeah.
you know,
And you should follow him on Instagram.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
he
if you're
does
not.
come out there.
exactly. I mean, and being able to show residential consumers or whoever, and just be like, yeah, look at my Instagram, look at our website, look at whatever it is, to see what I'm talking about, see
Yeah.
how complex it is. You know, how many times people would call like his dad's and be like, well, can you do a better price? And it's like, no, I can't. And if you want somebody to, like, best of luck. I
Yeah.
hope that it ends up well for you,
Yeah.
because anybody who's pricing this job any cheaper is not going to do it the way that I'm going to
I think people are really looking into that now and appreciating that.
Yeah.
And like they even brag to say like my arborist is this and that,
Yeah.
because I know that's what I turned a lot of my clients into when I was doing a lot more residential. I would be like, look at where I just was, and like look at I was speaking at a conference, and I was like, follow me on Facebook, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh my god, you're
Yeah.
like. You're cool, you
Yeah.
know, and like it generated so much work for me.
Yeah.
Like I've never had a business card.
Yeah.
I mean, we have Pablo now, which is super cool. But I've never had a business card because there was always someone was promoting me,
Yeah.
right? Someone was being my business
Of
card for
course.
me, which is the best way to do it. So you marry Hans.
Yeah.
You're not doing tree work at the time, or you're not
No.
related to the training.
No.
What were you doing? You were doing marketing and
Yeah. So I, at the time, was a product development manager for a digital media and trade show company. And I worked specifically in travel and hospitality. So all of my customers and clients were those companies that I wanted to work for and with when I was younger in hospitality. I specifically was building a learning management system for travel and hospitality suppliers. So Carnival, Marriott, Hilton, Leading Hotels of America, any of those companies that wanted to create a learning management system would come to my team and we would build that for them.
That's so awesome.
I was with that company up until 3 months ago.
So you had a dream job. You're doing what you wanted to do all your life, what
Yeah.
you went to school for. How do you say I'm gonna leave that and like work for my husband or work with him?
Yeah, so Hans started teaching part-time in 2018, and then in 2019 we decided to go full-time for him teaching.
Right.
And I was still working my corporate job, and the thought was that I got healthcare and I had benefits and it was stable.
Yeah, you're like, we'll be able to do it. I
Yeah.
remember a little bit about that
Yeah.
time. You're like, we're still doing this and that. But
Yeah. So
when was that time when you're like, okay, like I think I gotta be all in? Or did he ask you? Or
no, it was a conversation that we had together, and we have 2 boys now. And that was a lot, and having the boys and, trying to work my full-time job, but then also wanting to help him and support him and
Right.
see his business grow and see our business grow. And I couldn't do all of that well. And that was turning me into what felt like a really shitty mom at the end of the day, because I was frustrated and I was tired and felt like I spent a whole day of doing a lot but not getting anything done. So then I would get frustrated, and then it was working late, or it was working early, or it was whatever. And then knowing that if I put all of that time and effort into our business, that could benefit our family.
Yeah.
Whereas putting all of that time and effort into a corporation
Right.
that I get a paycheck from but doesn't directly benefit my family.
Wow.
So probably about like 5 months ago we started the conversation, and then my last day was July 4th.
Yeah.
And we took a little bit of a vacation, and then we just went all in. So back to the college part of it, like I love the event planning, like the conferences, the being hospitable and having, working with the customers. When I left my corporate job, I was a director of client success. So my job was to make sure that our customers and our clients were happy. And I genuinely want all of our customers to be happy, and I want to be able to help them, and I want to be able to better that, because he and you and all of our trainers want to better this industry. And the only way you guys can better that industry is if I can help you do what you do.
Wow. Like I got goosebumps, like just like thinking about that, because for you to do what you do, it's just awesome,
I love it. I genuinely have fun doing it, and it's, we can both dedicate our time to it. So we're doing, we're not pulling my hair out every day. But you guys are all fun. Like, and you guys love what you do.
Yeah.
Every single one of you love what you do, and you're so passionate about it. I can't do what you guys do. He wants me to take the certification test, and I won't.
Yeah, we keep talking about it. We're like, well,
because I don't want people. Somebody's gonna have to proctor my test. Somebody's gonna have to.
We're all proctors.
I know,
Like,
but
okay,
that's
can
the
we just get her
problem.
like
I
on the
don't
test right
want-
now?
No, I don't want anyone to know that I failed if I were to fail.
Listen, no one's gonna know. We would not
Except
tell
you
anyone.
guys would. So I don't want.
Well, Justin Hartman failed the first time. See, no one cares.
He
you
passed that
know?
one. No, he passed his first time. It was all terrain.
I'm messing. It doesn't even matter.
It doesn't. My point being is that I'm, I want to be able to help you guys to do what you do and what you love to do. When we bought our first house in 2016, whenever it was, we fully renovated the house, right? And I had to go to the township, and the township's like, yeah, $1,200 in permits. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, why am I spending $1,200 in permits? Okay, I've got 3 trees that I need to get taken down. My husband's a New Jersey licensed tree expert. And they're like, okay, $10 for the permit. And I was like, wait a second.
Wow.
So you're paying me $1,200 on plumbing, building, and electrical permits. But you could care less if my husband drops these 3 dead trees on my house.
Wow.
And they were like, yeah, $10 and we'll send someone out. But since your husband's a licensed tree expert, like, we don't need to send anybody out. And I'm like, cool. Like, really? Like, that makes no sense. You care if my house burns down, but you don't care if he drops a tree on my house.
Right.
You don't care. And in New Jersey, we're lucky that there is the licensing. So some townships are slowly starting to recognize that.
Right.
And they won't give permits to people unless they're licensed. So then I start to learn more about cranes and knuckle booms, and I start to realize that there are people out there that are spending $750,000 on a knuckle boom that have never operated one before.
Right.
How does that lucky person get to be the first house that they go to work at?
Oh, wow.
So
I try not to think about that.
Right, okay, but now think about me in 2016. I just bought this house. I have
Right.
3 trees that need to get taken down. I married a stockbroker, so he calls somebody else and he gets this new guy to come out and take these 3 trees down that just bought a $750,000 knuckle boom.
Wow.
That's beautiful, and he tells me that he can take it down, but I don't know that he's actually never used it before.
That is crazy.
And all the town's gonna do is charge me a $10 permit.
$10.
They don't care.
Wow.
Right? So like from the consumer side of it, it's so important for what you guys are doing. But then also for the industry, it's so important what you guys are doing so that people get as excited about it as you guys are.
I guess when you see it that way, it makes like a lot of sense. It's awesome to have someone like you that came from
Outside.
the outside. Yeah, absolutely. And that you had all this experience from this has been the theme with everybody that's come up here. It's like all these life experiences and your degrees and whatever it is that you learned before coming into this industry makes this industry so great, because we have someone like you that chose to say, you know what? Yeah, I have this career that I went to school for, but I ended up here, and like, let me support what you guys are doing. Because this wasn't even just about like your husband, right? Like there was other people that were already doing this that you said, I want to do that to be able to give back to the industry and make people safe, and then you keep doing what you like, right? Because now we're always doing events and we're always doing like,
I mean, so Hans got to talk about how we are getting our simulator for TCIA,
Right.
right? So the first week that I left my job, my other job, I was like, you know what? I've forgotten what it was like to do something, to build something, to have learn something new, and because I was just on conference calls all the time. So that first week, I started working on building an app for us, for our students. So a big part of what we do is we want to provide the training to our students, but then we also want to be able to provide them the documentation so that they have that. Because in New Jersey specifically, you have to have all of your continuing education, but heaven forbid something were to happen, you need to be able to show your documentation. Well, with this app that I'm building, you as Eric Palacios, a student of ours, will be able to have all of your documented training in your app. You'll be able to pull it up with your picture, your NCCR certification
that's
number,
so cool.
when your certification is going to be up, everything that you need if you were to have a problem on the job. There's
so
also
cool.
going to be the green log weight calculator and how to calculate the sling. I don't know, that's where I start to lose it. I did the math part. He tells me the step. But it has all of the job tools that you're going to need on the job. And
That's
as
so
a student
cool.
of ours, you'll have access to that.
That's
but the
incredible.
point being is that I enjoyed teaching myself how to do that. I enjoyed building it, but then I'm taking something that I like, and he's able to marry it to what he likes.
Right.
And
It's a process. It's a type of industry that you're always going to keep learning, and there's always going to be innovation, and there's always going to be new tools, and there's always going to be training what we do, right?
Yeah.
And teaching people and making people's lives better, right? Like someone's going to have a better life. Some family's going to have a
Hopefully.
better life and make more money for their family, take care of their kids better, because of the work that you do, of the work that everyone does at MJ Crane Experts, and that's so valuable, right?
Yeah.
Like people work for this their whole lives to be valuable, to have a job that they're valuable at, that they can go home at the end of the day and be like, I didn't just sit in an office and was there. Like Like
Yeah.
I helped the world and I helped the environment because we're taking care of trees, right? Not just care of people. And then, I mean, your kids are gonna have something to grow up to look at, to be to follow or not, all right? But they'll have
But
something there,
still,
and they'll
to
have
right,
values
and
that
to
they've learned
see
from all of this.
to see what it's like to have parents who like and enjoy what they do.
Oh,
Like
man.
my parents were both teachers. My mom taught middle school math.
I
my
love
dad
your mom, by the way.
my dad taught high school art, and genuinely, like, they loved what they did, and
Yeah.
they got to retire at 55, 56, and they got to travel, and I really had a fantastic life growing up. But I also
Wow.
saw that they loved what they did.
Right.
Like, yes, my mom teaching middle school math was not always enjoyable, but they loved being teachers. And when he started teaching, I was like, you're gonna teach? Like, this is weird. Like,
Yeah.
I never thought of him as a teacher.
Wow.
But he sees it from the other side, because a lot of you guys in the industry, everybody walks into class and they're like, I fucking suck at taking tests. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sweating. I can't even. This is like, I can't do it. This is crazy.
We're
And
like
they-
we don't like it
you
either,
don't-
but
right,
this is what
exactly,
we
exactly.
yeah.
But so you guys see it from that side, so you
Yeah.
teach it differently.
Yeah.
You're in the industry, you still have your hands on jobs all the time, but you see it from the side of people who don't like to test. So
Right.
you're not just getting somebody up there who's teaching a PowerPoint because they're teaching because they retired from teaching 10 years
Right.
ago. So for our boys to grow up and see us passionate about
Wow.
it, and to see that we like it, but then we also hopefully can balance it, and still,
Yeah.
like, they're going to be here tomorrow afternoon because
Yeah.
Hans Joseph's going to be running around here like a freaking maniac, looking at all the trucks and going crazy. But he loves it. He talks about Dada's school.
Yeah,
and,
he's got to come
Dada's
see
trucks.
Uncle Eric for sure. He's
Right,
got to
of
come see Uncle
course.
Eric.
He'll be
He's gotta
here.
have
He
him
gets
out
all
here.
excited. Axel runs around just as crazy, but he's got a couple more years before he realizes what everything is.
Wow. Well,
yeah,
that's
we
so
like it.
awesome. We so you've done all that. You've created a great company. What's NJ Crane Expert doing now? What are you doing moving forward? What's in the works? We talked about some simulators being
Yeah.
at TCIA,
Yep.
but what are some of the key trainings that you're having coming up and stuff like that?
Yours.
We have
got
training in
yours.
Cali.
Yeah,
Get
we've
on the
got your
website, check
training
it out.
in California. I mean, really, I feel like he's probably got 7,000 ideas running through his head right now, and he's like, what's she gonna say? I'm personally trying to take like a couple steps back now that I have the
Good.
time to focus on the business and say, okay, what is our 1 year, 5 year, 10-year plan? What do we want to focus on? How can we build out our calendar and our schedule more strategically? What kind of other brand partnerships can we work on that can help fund us and help support us? We work with some great companies that help provide those services to our students and ourselves. But yeah, really, like, I'm just kind of trying to get my feet on the ground. I mean, technically speaking, like, only being an employee for 3 months, and just trying to see what that plan's going to look like. What is 2022 going to look like for us? And focusing on that simulator.
Yeah,
and,
no,
and
that's
making sure that
definitely gonna be
thing
cool.
is staying busy when we get it, because that's going to be really exciting. Whether it is somebody taking the simulator for 2 weeks because they've got a huge crew of people and they want to get them trained, or if it's somebody, a local company that's looking for like employment verification. We give a lot of phone calls of people saying, I want to take your class, and then are you going to help me with job placement?
Yeah.
And then on the same side of it, we get people that say, I've got this crane, I just bought it, and I have no operator.
Wow. That's
So-
always a big part of what the industry needs
Yeah.
is job placement, and there's so many people out there looking for work. There are so many companies out there that
Yeah.
need people.
He's intimidating.
He is. He's also very good looking. Like so.
Where's your pin?
That thing came out and it stabbed me.
Wait, let me see it. So, Jared over here, if anybody missed it, he took class last week, and he got
Boom.
his
He did
certified crane
great.
operator.
He did great. He does not follow instructions very well, but he still did great.
That's a fact.
No, so I'm so glad to be part of all of this with you guys too.
We are too.
It's so good to see the kids growing and for our families to be involved in all of this. Thank you so much
Thank
for everything
you.
you're
This was
doing.
fun.
Thank you for being a part of this, because we wouldn't be able to do it without people like you,
Thank
you
you.
know, and we definitely wouldn't be able to do it without women, you know,
you.
which is another part. You're just so smart, but being a woman has these little things that us men don't do, you know, and so you keep us in line, you keep us organized,
try.
you make sure things are happening the way they need to, and you know, I couldn't be happier working with people like you guys.
Thanks,
So
Eric.
so
You make
we-
my job easier.
so give us the handles. Where can people get a hold of you?
Yeah.
What's the website? What's the IG? All of that good stuff.
Okay, so you can find us on Instagram at NJCraneExpert. Our website is njcraneexpert.com. All of our classes are online. If there's a class that you want that you don't see, send us an email and we will get something scheduled. We'll work with our trainers. And if you have some new equipment that you need trained on, we can do operator development programs. We'll come out to you. You can come out to us.
Yeah.
We're located in Flemington, New Jersey, and we've got trainers all over the place.
Yeah,
So
all over the country.
We'll make it happen.
So it's not hard to get a hold of us or
No.
get anything going. So if you need to get a
Just
hold
wait
of
till
us,
like Monday because I'm kind of busy today.
yeah, wait till Monday. Regular business hours
Yeah,
for sure.
regular business hours.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for being out here.
Of course.
Big shout out to Miss Lewis, right? Your
Yeah,
mom.
yeah, yeah.
Big shout out to
See
Mama.
if she's watching.
Yeah, and to the kiddos. We hope to see the kiddos out here tomorrow. Yeah. So
Okay,
have them
awesome.
come see Uncle Eric. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, thank you.